Hey guys, for this presentation, I will be talking about the Tolerance and Truth in America speech by Edward Kennedy. As an American, it may be asked of us to tolerate knowing and understanding the truths of America. Being an American can come with quite some freedoms, but also comes with understanding the difficulties that come along with it. The speech titled Tolerance and Truth in America explains the tolerance and truths in America and what conflict also goes along with it. The flaws and the conflicts of America is what the speech focuses on, and how to resolve the conflict between different Americans within their religion, which also affects their politics and relationship with other Americans. Okay, now we'll begin with some historical context to talk about behind the speech. So this would help the readers understand the speech better because of these questions. What cumulative events led up to the rhetorical situation? And the answer to that rhetorical question can be thought about very critically. The problem was when too many people in America were mixing religion with their politics and beliefs in America. This was affecting the view of other Americans in very negative ways if they disagreed on something. A website titled Rhetorical Analysis of Faith, Truth, and Tolerance in America states this very clearly. Now for the rhetorical situation. So what the rhetorical situation actually was the main problem leading the speaker to speak. The problem was when too many people in America were mixing their religion with their politics and beliefs in America. This is affecting how they viewed each other. Coming from personal experience, Edward Kennedy would talk about how he regretted letting his religion overlap with politics. This would create a sense of ethos, which means ethics, on his end of speaking. It's also good to know about who the speaker was and what he stood for. And so the speaker was Edward Kennedy, and going into further research can be helpful to fully understand who he was as a person and why he was the one speaking on this topic. A website titled Edward M. Kennedy Presidential Library and Museum really explains who he was as a person. The website goes into detail about who he was and how he was born into Massachusetts, and voters of Massachusetts elected him to the Senate 9 times, which was a record matched by only one other senator. He also went to Harvard schools and studied law, so he definitely knew what he was talking about. Now for the exigence. So basically what this term means is identifying what was wrong that the speaker thought needed to be fixed. Exigence is a very important term used in critiques that is needed to be interpreted by the critics and the readers to be able to fully understand the speech. The exigence that was identified in this specific speech would be when he felt the differences between everyone's opinions throughout America and realizing how much it was affecting everybody around him. Now for the rhetorical purpose that is extremely valuable in this speech. So, identifying the rhetorical purpose of a speech would be to decide if the speech contains hints of creating a virtual experience, explaining, altering any type of perception, formulating beliefs, whether that's initiating action or maintaining the same actions. This speech's rhetorical purpose would start by explaining the problem, which was the harsh truths of America that Edward believed in and wanted to make a change about. He also formulated the belief of respect and being able to value the differences between religions and opinions of others throughout America. Okay, so now we'll be discussing the goal. So the speaker of any rhetorical speech also has a main goal and intention for their speech, or a reason for speaking to their crowd. This speaker's specific goal was to persuasive movement for the members to demonstrate. This would be to separate the church and politics from each other. The Tolerance and Truth of America says, I believe it's possible. The choice lies within us as fellow citizens. Let us peacefully with each other as fellow human beings. Okay, now for the audience. So the audience was very present and in the moment, and some of the audience already knew what he stood for and what to expect. However, the other half of the audience was very hostile and disagreed with what he was standing for. Okay, now for the rhetorical problem. Just a heads up, this will be a long slide. So the audience needed to stop lacking motivation in order to make a change, so he felt the speech was necessary. And that's where the pathos comes in for his passion for speaking. And for the subject, the topic was sort of complex in a way of speaking out because the audience didn't fully want the change that he wanted. And the purpose would be the cost, no matter what the cost would be. And I chose to say that some of the audience was hard to persuade because they didn't fully want to give up political views of their religion and combining the church with their religion to push that on other people. And now for the control. He wasn't fully in control over the situation, however, he felt the need to speak out on his beliefs to better influence the crowd against mistakes that he has made. Some of his rhetorical strategies were persuasion, alliteration, and he used pathos and ethos through his writing, speaking, and delivery of his speech. And lastly, for the evaluation, we will conclude with the considerations of effects, truth, ethics, and aesthetics. The effects of this speech was to get his point across to the Americans for generations to come. He was hoping to provide safety to our country and using that with explanations and as a source of persuasion to his audience. The speech would say, "I hope for an America where we can all content freely and vigorously, but where we will treasure and guard those standards of civility which alone makes this nation safe for both the democracy and diversity." Thank you guys for your time, and I hope you enjoyed my speech.